Wow, what an intro. Kia ora tātou, my name is Kiran. Today I want to talk about the idea of creating a home away from home. And the last time I spoke here, I talked about what free hugs taught me about community building. And I feel like that gives a sense to the type of work that I get up to. I have a deep passion for human connection and creativity. And I feel like creating a home is ultimately what I feel a community builder's dream, one where we can create a space where people can come and convene and let go of their mask at the door and be the person that they truly want to be. But before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about my journey and a little bit where this sort of community building passion started. And it started at my first community, the Hamster Club. I was 9 years old. And there was 5 members of the Hamster Club. And we met up at my parents' attic, of all places. And of the 5 members, there were 4 members who owned hamsters. I ironically was the one who didn't have a hamster. So I feel like I must have been doing something right. But I feel like my first real experience of feeling the love of community was going to Unitech Film School. And one day when I was 16, I came across this thing called Meetup. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with Meetup. But for a 16-year-old who doesn't venture far beyond Facebook, Meetup to me looked like a dating site. And I went onto my family email and I saw that Dad was subscribed to Meetup. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, he's not hiding it well. And so I went on and I saw this film Meetup group, and it had this film festival coming up. And I had just moved to New Zealand. I was 16 years old. I was really struggling to sort of find my place here. And film was something I was really passionate about. So when I found this film meetup group, I was really excited. And I knew it was an R18 event, so I got out Dad's suit and it came down to my knees. And I remember so particularly what it felt like walking down the stairs, going to see this event. And as I walked down the stairs and seeing all these people kind of in a foyer type setup, I just started hearing murmurs of people talking about shot angles and films they loved and stories and things they wanted to tell. And I can't really explain it. It just felt electrifying. I felt like for the first time I was being seen. I was around my people. I felt this feeling that I'm sure many of you know if you've been in rooms like this and rooms where you just feel like, these are my people. This is what home felt like. And that's what I missed a lot from my home in Holland, where I grew up, was a space of comfort. And I feel like that was the thing that really started and seeded my quest for finding home and finding my community. And over the past 4 or 5 years, Colette mentioned, I run a bunch of different community groups here in Auckland. And one of the things that I've come to learn that might be a little bit more surprising, or at least was surprising to me, was that people might join a community for the activities. It might be a book club, it might be a games club, whatever it might be. But I feel like people stay within a community for the long haul, not for necessarily what the activity is, but for the people and the values. And I found this time and time again with the different communities that I've been a part of. And I was really interested in this idea of, what if we simply connected around the values, not necessarily what the activities are? You know, as a movement builder, I'm constantly, strenuously thinking about what are the activities that are going to engage these people, or going to get people to come to my events. But all of a sudden, when I started thinking about it, they're not necessarily there for the activity. They're there for the values, the people, the feeling, that feeling I felt when I was in that film meetup. And so when the lease came up for what is now MoveSpace, this 2-story building on Dominion Road, this old rackety building that was built in the 1920s, I felt like it was an opportunity to go, what if we build a community not necessarily around a particular activity, not around a particular event, but a set of values? And with all the community groups that I had been a part of and had started and been a part of creating, what were the values that sort of link them together. And I came up with a few of these, like creativity and optimism and courage. And so rather than having a strong vision for what I wanted to create in the world, I would simply invite the opportunity to be in a space where we value things like respect and vulnerability and courage. And to my surprise, a lot of pretty awesome things happened. MoveSpace today, we're 6 months in. We opened on June 1st. And it's a space it's not a co-working space. It's not a community center. It's really a place where you can truly just be yourself, right? You've got home and you've got work, but where do you go to just be the person that you want to be? And so because we found ourselves trying to create a home where these values were expressed, those people came together, and then the activities varied, right? So rather than going straight from the activity and then capturing the people and then figuring out the values, went values and then the people came, and then all these different activities happened. So, you know, next week there's an event every night. There's an open mic night. There's a workshop on plastic usage. There's a workshop on masculinity and femininity, and there's all sorts of different things that are happening at the space. And now, just on Tuesday, there was our first wedding at the space, which was definitely, yeah, quite a thing, which is really cool. I've got about a minute left, and I'm trying to think of, when I was trying to come up with this talk, I didn't necessarily have a specific thing or a specific line of global significance, but I definitely felt like maybe in this world where so many different things are happening and there's challenges and conflicts, maybe rather than having a specific vision, a specific thing that you want to put out in the world, rather than it being centered around what you want to do to change the world, maybe it's about creating more spaces where people can create themselves and find home and find meaning and find those people that allow for them to feel at home and feel comfortable. And in a lot of ways, in my quest to find my home and find my community, I think this recognition that a values-based community can and will change the world is a milestone for me. So thank you very much.